So greetings and welcome to another video. My name is Peter Updike and this is the Wild Treasures of an Outdoorsman YouTube channel. And all here on the floor I have what I take with me when I go on a turkey hunt. This video is by special request. Subscriber has been awarded a quota permit. And it's a quota permit to an area where you have to go through a check station. And I've always emphasized the difference between a quota permit where you have no check station and a quota permit where you have a check station, and the dynamics around those hunts, especially early in the morning. So I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to share with you the things that I take with me on a turkey hunt and maybe my process for that kind of hunt. So let's get started. So if you have a quota permit for a management area for a turkey hunt, okay, a spring gobbler turkey hunt on public land, and you got a quota permit and you know that there's going to be a check station there, what should be your process? I have two thought processes that we're going to go through. And the first one is, if you get to the check station an hour before daylight, my thought is that you're getting there an hour too late. All right, so rule number one, be there as early as you possibly can to claim your spot. Now, hopefully you've scouted out the area or you're familiar with it, and you have 2 or 3 points of access that you can access areas where turkeys might be roosting, or a large area where you can wander and call and listen. Now, if it were me, it's not, but if it were, I would have several parking spots picked out. I would get there 2 hours before daylight. Okay, and I know that's early, but you're kind of forced into a competition with other hunters, especially if you go through a check station. If you go through a check station, you're liable to be drawn in to this kind of mini parade where you'll have taillights in front of you and headlights behind you, something that I don't like. I like to avoid other hunters at all costs, and of course this is not the way to do it. But if I had a quota permit for a place like Half Moon or Potts or Flying Eagle, and I wanted to go turkey hunting there, right? And this is the only way to do it. All right, get there 2 hours before daylight, and get through the check station and get to my parking area. Do a quick equipment check and slowly slip off into the darkness to an area that I'm kind of familiar with. And then maybe hang tight. You know what I do? I take a jet bowl with me, and I take a Folgers coffee tea bag, some water, some cream, some sugar, and I like to make coffee in my jet bowl while I wait. It helps kill the time. It can be a bit nerve-wracking waiting on daylight. Sometimes it takes forever. But if you're at the parking area and other people are driving by and you've got that parking spot in that area to yourself, well, then you've done the right thing. But if you've got a parking area where there are multiple hunters there, where you're going to have to try and work that out, it's going to be difficult. This is what I'm talking about. It's very difficult. That's probably one of the most difficult hunts to execute, where you won't be in the company of other hunters. And yeah, I hate to say it, but it's typically not the turkey hunt that I'm after. I'll do it deer hunting, but turkey hunting is so much different because turkey hunting requires the hearing of a gobbler. It doesn't require it, but you're probably going to hear one. And so is your other hunting buddy, and so is your other hunting buddy. They're out there, right? Everyone's our hunting buddy. And these are the people that we get drawn into a competition, and yeah, that's someplace I really don't want to be. So if it were me, I would go and I'd find a place to park, and I would make my way to designated areas. Now, the way you do that is if you've been able to scout it out, if you've been able to go there and find a spot Many times you have to ride a bicycle because you can't drive in there. They got a gate, right? You can't drive in. And or maybe you deer hunted a couple times and you're familiar with it. Go to Google Earth and look and see where the closed roads go, where the trails go, where access points are, right? And scout it that way. And I've done that many times. And it's always beneficial to have an aerial picture of what you're going to be seeing when you're on the ground. And so that's the first case scenario. You're going to have to work it out. You're going to have to figure it out, but you got to get there early. You got to be prepared for the onslaught of other hunters, because the nature of the check station tends to jam people up. You're going to have to learn to be patient. If this is the hunt you want to do, that's what you're going to have to, expect. All right, so there's a second option. Okay, and that second option is to do a midday hunt. I like the midday hunt. It's devoid of the early morning parade, and you can go out in the daylight and find the area that you want to hunt, sit, call, move, call. Maybe there won't be anybody in that block because you'll know that there's no vehicles parked out there. Maybe this morning when you got there, there were 3 vehicles there. But it's 10 o'clock now. These guys have gone home. Maybe they got their bird. Maybe they just hunt daylight and an hour after and then go home. A lot of turkey hunters do that. And it's a great opportunity for you to go and wander in the daylight. Now, here's the thing. You can hunt most of these hunts right up to sunset. Okay? Many times birds go on the roost at sunset, obviously, and they gobble on the roost. If you can locate a gobbling bird on the roost, well, then you'll know where you'll need to be the following day. Right? If you get up at 3 a.m. and plan to hunt all day, well, that's a long day, man. That's a tough thing to do. There's going to be some naps in there somewhere, I guarantee you. But don't disregard the afternoon hunt, and don't disregard the midday hunt. Birds get with hens, they wander off, they ignore calls, guys get bored, hunters get bored, they go home, and then gobblers break off from those hens and begin to wander, and 10, 11 o'clock rolls around, well, then they're looking for hens again, and you can call one in the middle of the day. I know that's not standard turkey hunting procedure, but I've killed plenty of birds right smack dab in the middle of the day. No reason why you can't. So that's my advice for the quota permit that has a check station, okay? Most of those hunts are quite desirable. There are a lot of birds in there. It's well worth the effort, okay? Don't let me discourage you just because I don't like to do it. If I had the quota permit, I'd figure out a way, okay? And I would work hard at not getting frustrated. Frustration works against you, all right? You need to stay calm and cool and know that things can unfold, all right? And good things can happen to those that use strategy and patience and approach a hunt with knowing that other hunters are in the woods, and yeah, I'm going to be patient, take my time, and see if I can't get on a bird. All right, so what do I take with me when I go turkey hunting? Well, first of all, you need to take a shotgun with you. I've got 2 of them here that I take with me real quickly. I like my old school Ithaca Model 37. It's a 2 3/4 inch chambered pump shotgun. I killed my first longbeard with it. It has a real cool poly choke on the end. The poly choke is frozen in place. You know, poly choke is one of those chokes that you can adjust it. Well, it's rusted up, and I got no desire to try and free it up. But I like my old Ithaca Model 37, and again, it shoots 2 3/4 shells, and I killed a lot of squirrels and rabbits with this old gun, and I've had this gun my entire adult life, and I think I paid $110 for it at the Ammo, Tobacco, and Firearms gun shop. So yeah, I think I've killed maybe three turkeys with this gun, and then I graduated to my Remington automatic. This is my official turkey shotgun. It's a 1187 special purpose. It has a rhino choke tube on the end. I had that rhino choke tube made for this gun, and then they sighted it on, they patterned it for me, and I've always been happy with that choke tube. I bought an aftermarket choke tube, and eventually the thing bent, and I missed a gobbler, and I took it and patterned it, and man, the shot was way over here, and it was, you always need to be checking your gun and checking your choke, right? So this shotgun's a 3-inch Magnum shotgun, and it has a Burris Fast Fire 3 red dot sight system for my failing eyesight. I throw up, I can see that red dot. Even in the bright sunlight, I can see that red dot, and I can see through the glass at a turkey, and I only have one sight to line up, and that's the red dot. And if that red dot is on, it doesn't matter if I'm holding like this or holding like this or holding like this. If the red dot is on the bird, well, then I'm on target. And yeah, I like it. So that is my Remington 1187. Okay, so I shoot heavy shot. The most important aspect of the turkey gun lies within your responsibility to know what is the effective range of the gun that I'm hunting with. Is it 20 yards, 25 yards, 30 yards? You need that information. And it doesn't matter whether you're hunting with a 20 gauge or a 410 or a 12 gauge, 3-inch magnums, 3.5, 2 3/4, this kind of load, that kind of load. The most important thing is for you to go to the field with the knowledge that my shotgun can kill a bird at 30 yards. This shotgun, 40, 45 yards, especially with the heavy shot. And so yeah, I always hunt with that one, right? But if all you have is an Ithaca Model 37, well, load that thing up with the best turkey loads you can afford. Sight it in using that target right there. It's a paper target. Costs like 10 cents a piece or something. This will give you a visual of what you'll see when that moment comes, and it gives you a point of reference, training your eye and your mind for the hunt, okay? Yeah, that's huge. So shoot these pellets in the spine, in the brain. It only takes one pellet in the cranial to kill a turkey, right? But all throughout there, there'll be pellets all in there. Yeah, it's a very effective tool that you'll need. Okay, camouflage. I posted on Facebook the other day a picture of myself holding a gobbler, and I was wearing blue jeans. I might be the only guy wearing blue jeans, but my theory is if you're sitting on the ground, what difference is it going to make? I like wearing jeans. Might be the only guy wearing jeans, but for my upper body, sometimes I wear a bug tamer jacket, dark camo. I like my bug tamer, and sometimes I wear the leaf suit. It's a little crazy to wear that, but I like it. I'll wear it. Now, along with that, you want to be a disciplined turkey hunter, so you always want to wear your camo when you're sitting down on the ground calling a turkey. A disciplined turkey hunter always covers his hands and covers his face. If you don't cover your hands, your turkey is going to see your hands in the dark woods, in the dark timber, like a mime on the street, right? You don't want to look like a mime on the street. When you bring your gun up, he's going to see that, and he's going to see them white hands. He's not going to come in. He's going to put, and run away. So, always invest in a good pair of camo gloves. And along with the camo gloves, as you know, I've been having trouble with the face mask. The face mask fogs up my glasses. They're hot. It's hot. It's cumbersome. I don't like the face mask. I've said goodbye to the face mask forever. And I use the camo makeup. I've got two of them here. I carry them both with me, and I do what I call the 3-finger smear. I smear it on there, put it on there, get it on my nose, get it on my ears, and yeah, I'm good to go. I like the face mask, and then it just wipes right off with a little soap and water when you get back to the truck. You don't want to go into the convenience store, but yeah, that's what I use. And what else? turkey calls. All right, let's talk about locator calls. If you're in the company of other hunters, like a hunt like we just described, where you go through a check station and maybe there's another hunter 300 or 400 yards down the way, and you can hear him hitting his crow call, or you can hear him hitting his hoot owl call. And then there's another one back this way, he's hitting on his hoot owl call. Other guy's got his, okay, a locator call is a call that you use at any time during the day, hoot owling in the morning, crow calling at daylight, hawks. You can use it to entice a gobbler to gobble, revealing his location. All right, that's okay, that's good. If you know where a turkey is, that helps you, right? However, moving closer to that bird when there are other hunters in the area might not be an option. You need to look at every situation. If you know there's another guy down there and he's calling to that bird, I would not, if it were me, I would not go down and try and get in front of that guy. I just wouldn't do it, okay? It's not advisable. If he's down there, he got there before me, it's his bird, okay? If the bird ignores him and comes to me, well, that's the way it goes, right? But locator calls are good when the woods are quiet. But if the woods are alive and full of birds and you can hear crows in the distance and hawks, these are all of the things that turkeys will gobble at. I don't know why. They will gobble at a railroad train coming down the track. They will gobble at a slamming car door. They will gobble at gunshots. And you need to be listening if you are, like me, kind of wandering around. When you hear a crow, you need to stop and listen, because the crow that's in the air will always be more vocal and you'll be able to hear it better than the gobbler on the ground. If the gobbler's on the ground and he gobbles and you're not paying attention and you hear that crow but you're not paying attention, you don't stop to listen, in other words. You don't pay attention. I got to pay attention to listen. You might not hear it. There'll be a gobbler out there, and I promise you, that gobbler is closer than you think if you hear him gobble. I kind of did a study here at my house. I've got a circle that my wife and I walk every morning with the dog. It's exactly 1 mile all the way around that circle. I've got a pasture up here that has turkeys in it from time to time. And from time to time, there's a gobbler in there, and he gobbles. And he readily gobbles, and he gobbles a lot. And he was up by the road, and I was down at the bottom, and I could barely hear him. And I know as the crow flies, that's exactly half a mile. And that half a mile is almost outside the range that I could hear that bird gobbling. As I came around the bend, came up, and then I knew exactly where that bird was. Now he was a quarter of a mile away, and I could clearly hear him. So yeah, when you hear a turkey gobble, he's closer than you think. Same with elk hunting. I was elk hunting one time, and I saw a bull, and I called to him, and I could see him. He couldn't have been more than 200 or 300 yards away, and I saw him as well as heard him bugle, and it sounded like he was 100 miles away, and he was right there. I could see him. So yeah, the point is that sounds are tricky, okay? All right, so that's the locator call. Now let's talk about, let's see what else we got. When you sit down, you'll need a seat cushion. Got a seat cushion. I like to have a seat cushion. When I sit down on the seat cushion, I always take some bug spray and I spray the ground. I like to broadcast spray all around me when I sit down. I always wear snake boots. I have witnessed water moccasins crawling on the forest floor while I'm seated under a tree. And it's my belief that if a water moccasin comes up behind me, I'll never know. Okay, I'm not trying to put fear in your heart. I'm just saying that if you put this on the ground and a water moccasin is slithering on by and he comes to the scent, that he'll probably say, whoa, what's that? let me stop and investigate and maybe not come all the way in. My big fear is that I won't have my wits about me. I'll look down and there'll be a water moccasin laying there because I've experienced it, okay? So, yeah, I like to spray the ground around the area where I plan to sit. And I'm not paranoid, and I don't let them stop me from going in the woods, but I take steps that I think will work, okay? And I think that will work. And if you're sitting on the ground with your snake boots, ain't doing you no good anyway. I don't want to get bit on the arm. So, yeah, I spray the ground, especially behind me, 5-6 feet behind me. And if a water moccasin is slithering behind me where I can't see it, well, maybe he'll smell that spray and he'll say, whoa, wait a minute, what is that? And then a thermocell, because mosquitoes are bad. Movement is key when turkey hunting. You don't want to do too much movement, and if the mosquitoes are bothering you and you're not wearing a face mask and you've got the makeup on your face, yeah, I use a thermocell. It's a great tool. All right, so that brings us to the final chapter of this video. Turkey calls. What do I use? I like a diaphragm call, a striker. This one is a Spring King diaphragm call, and this one is a Primos baddie call. Both work real well. I like the baddie call and the Spring King call, but so easy to use. You don't have to be an expert turkey caller to make that work. That bird will gobble at that and he'll come in. And box calls. I like box calls. They're kind of nostalgic. The only thing I don't like about box calls is if they're not secured, they'll squeak and squawk while you're walking. So you need a rubber band on them things. You need it chalked up. You need to practice your box call. The slate call, man, I don't have to practice too much. That thing works. And then the diaphragm call. I like the diaphragm call when a bird's coming in. I can coax him in with the diaphragm call. Now, if you're a little call shy yourself, in other words, every time you call, you don't feel like it's good enough. You don't feel like that it's happening. You feel like that your calls, well, for lack of a better way to say it, your calls stink. Okay, that's what you think. Sometimes I think that, that was a really crappy call sequence. There are times when it doesn't matter how you sound, the bird's going to come in. All right, and then there are times that bird's not going to come in no matter how good you sound. All right, but there are calls that are really easy to use. This one is a Quaker boy. I call these push calls, push-pull calls. It's just so simple. I don't know how you can screw that up. There's a purr, cluck, yelp. Yeah, they're so easy. So yeah, shop around. You can find a call that works for you, and then you can kind of graduate into whatever call that you want to excel in. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Let me warn you that if you're going to go turkey hunting, whether it be quota hunts or open hunting, let me warn you that turkey hunting is an investment, and that sometimes you have to work and continue to work and continue to work to get a glimpse of success. Right? It's hard to kill a gobbler on public land. And Florida public land is really tough. The land is wild. Not only are there water moccasins, but we have black bears and we have wild hogs and we've got all of these things, deep mud bogs, and it's sometimes it's very nerve-wracking walking to a location in the dark. That's why I always say that you should hunt an area over and over and over again, and that's what the quota permits with check stations don't offer. They don't offer the opportunity to go back and become familiar with it. And I like to hunt areas where I can hunt it over and over and over again because I develop a sense of familiarity with the area. And the more familiar I am, the more bold I am, and the more bold I am, the better hunter I become. But the thing about turkey hunting is, and deer hunting too, is that you invest yourself in it. And when you invest yourself in it, it comes with a price. And that price might very well be a huge disappointment. You may hunt a half a dozen hunts, getting up early in the morning, driving. Again, the price that you pay to go hunting. and then you'll get an opportunity and you might mess it up. It may not work out. It might be that you moved and the turkey saw you. You had no idea the bird was coming in. And all of these things can happen, and it's heartbreaking. So if you plan on going turkey hunting, and I'm sure you are if you're watching this video, and if you got this far in the video, that prepare yourself for disappointment. Remember, disappointment is just another ladder rung on the ladder to success. Failure, disappointment, try again until you finally get that desired outcome. That's what we strive for. And I can think of my first couple of hunts. I killed every bird that I called to came that gobbled. I killed a half a dozen gobblers, one right after another, and I was like, what is the big deal? And then all of a sudden I fouled one up, and then life got real for the next 20 years after that. So I thought I was the king of turkey hunting, and then something went wrong, and then it broke my heart, and then it broke my heart again, and then I killed another one, and it broke my heart. It never stops. It hurts. And so if you've never killed a gobbler and you're looking to become a hunter, a turkey hunter, be prepared for that moment when it doesn't work out, okay? But remember, just keep climbing that ladder. All right, we love you guys, and I'm going to be at Pat's Pawn and Gun this Saturday. That's February, I guess it's the 25th. This Saturday, February 25th, we're going to have our turkey event, and I want to invite you guys to come on down. That's in Leesburg, Florida, at Pat's Pawn and Gun. I don't know, it gets started around 9 o'clock. Chad Hodge will be there, and Spring King Calls, my buddy Kevin Vaughn, he'll be there. And those guys are a wealth of turkey hunting information. They got some great calls, and will help you every step in every way they can. All right, we love you guys. Talk to you soon. See you. Bye.